Okay, guys, I'm just going to try and get this on your screen. I was going to make a different video today, and I'll put in the description box details of the march tomorrow. It's going to be a really big march, and hopefully we'll pressure the politicians to push for a ceasefire so that no more innocent people have to die. But Keir Starmer has today, he's just told a massive lie. He's gaslighting everyone. Again, I shouldn't have to tell you this. I'm just going to play it for you. So this is ITV News Politics. A lot of Muslim councillors and many other councillors and members of the party have called him out on his appalling comments, and he doesn't actually, I'll just say it, he doesn't care about Islamophobia or anti-black racism. But anyway, this is what he said today.
You gave an interview the other day in which you implied that it would be justified for Israel to cut off Gaza's power and water supply. Is that what you meant?
Well, I welcome this question because I know that LBC clip has been widely shared and caused real concern and distress in some Muslim communities. So let me be clear about what I was saying and what I wasn't saying. I was saying Israel had the right to self-defense. And when I said that right, it was that right to self-defense. I was not saying that Israel had the right to cut off water, food, fuel, or medicines.
And yet people came to that conclusion.
On the contrary, for over a week now, I have been leading this charge, calling for that humanitarian aid to come in. We all know there are, innocent civilians in Gaza in a humanitarian crisis, 1 million children. That aid urgently needs to get in. So I was saying, yes, they have the right to self-defense. That right they do have, but not the right to withhold that humanitarian aid that needs to get in. It is now absolutely urgent, and that's why I've been calling for this for over a week. So I'm very pleased to be able to clarify precisely what I was saying in that LBC clip.
Right, okay, let's find the clip, shall we? Let's find that clip. Okay, now this is what was actually said, right? I feel like I'm going insane.
A siege is appropriate? Cutting off power, cutting off water?
Well, I think that Israel does have that right. It is an ongoing situation.
Right, okay, so just to reiterate here, right, just to really, really be clear on this, because Keir Starmer is a known, he lies, and he breaks his pledges, and he gaslights, and he pretends he hasn't said what he says. He's a weather vane, right? He will say whatever he thinks at the time is the best thing to say. Clearly, when he realised, because of the march, that hundreds of thousands of people in Britain did not agree with the genocide of the Palestinian people, he started to panic. Right? But this is exactly what was put to him. He's trying to say, all I said was Israel had a right to defend itself. And that in itself is ridiculous, is a ridiculous thing to say in the face of a genocide and war crimes and ethnic cleansing, and this is supposed to be a human rights lawyer. But this is the exact quote. Okay, I'm going to try and keep this brief. He was asked by Nick Ferrari directly, this is the question, do you think a siege is appropriate? Cutting off power, cutting off water, Sir Keir? He answered, I think that Israel does have that right. It is an ongoing situation. Obviously, everything should be done within international law, but I don't want to step away from the sort of core principle that Israel has a right to defend herself and Hamas bears responsibility for these terrorist acts. And I would call on all responsible states, particularly Middle East responsible states, to call this out for what it is and to stand with the world in utterly condemning these actions by Hamas. So, again, he's asked directly. He's not asked, what's your opinion on the occupation? What's your opinion on the conflict in general, the history of it? Okay, he is asked very, very simply, do you think a siege is appropriate? Do you think cutting off power and water to civilians is appropriate? That was a direct question. And he answers, the human rights lawyer answers, I think Israel does have that right. The man is a liar, the man is a fraud, the man is a careerist. I don't know how else I can phrase this. He's now trying to pretend that, I never said that, and in fact you've got the wrong context. No. This isn't even about where you stand on the conflict, because somebody could fully support Israel the whole way, right? Not believe in the occupation, any of that stuff, and still answer the question on do you think a siege is appropriate with no, I don't think that's appropriate. I don't think that innocent people should have their power and water cut off. I don't think they should be starved. I think that's a war crime. This is a human rights lawyer. Do not let him distort this. He's going to try. He's going to try and be the weasel that he is and turn every which way to try and get out of this. And he's going to try and gaslight the public with his I'm a reasonable man persona. No, you are on video, right? You are on video backing this evil, wicked act of collective punishment. And one more thing I wanted to say here, right? So I'm going to make a longer video on this because I've got a lot of sources here. But I just want to bring your attention to the Geneva Convention, Article 33 of the Geneva Convention. And Israel has broken a lot of human rights laws, right? It really has. But this one in particular, Article 33, individual responsibility, collective penalties, pillage and reprisals. No protected person may be punished for an offence he or she has not personally committed. Collective penalties and likewise all measures of intimidation or of terrorism are prohibited. Pillage is prohibited. Reprisals against protected persons and their property are prohibited. To deny the people of Gaza, 2 million people, water and power, right, and food and humanitarian aid is a war crime, and it is in breach of the Geneva Conventions. This man is a human rights lawyer. He is a sham. And I would ask you to think about this. Do you really think that someone who cared about human rights would become the director of public prosecutions? Who do you think they're going to put in that role? Do you think they're going to put someone in that role that's going to challenge laws, right? That's going to challenge and push for human rights? Or do you think they're going to put in a yes man who parrots whatever the state wants him to say? Think about that. But anyway, yeah, so he's lied again. He's been caught out lying, and he's shameless in it, and he continues to gaslight the public on this, as he has done with most of his pledges, essentially. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you really soon. All right, love you. Bye.